Today I'm making bruschetta, and it's my favorite recipe, and everybody tells me it's the best they've ever tasted, so I think this is the right time. Needless to say, we have our ripe tomatoes. They are vine ripened, as you can see. We have our basil, salt, pepper, garlic, a little margarine or butter, heated or melted. It'll be very nice. Our first thing, of course, is to cut up the bread, and then we'll toast it a little. And this should work out very well. It's longer than I thought. And we'll keep doing that. And I'm going to move it over here. We're going to toast it, and it should turn out something like this. Okay. Put that over here. Now, needless to say, a sharp knife, very important here. Our bowl. We're going to cut it up, small pieces, of course. And this should be really good. I'm making this mainly for my kids, my grandkids, hopefully my daughter's grandkids, and hopefully my grandkids' grandkids. So that should be pretty special. You know, we have to hold and keep our memories as much as possible. So this is one of the ways I thought would work out really well. Just keep making up these tomatoes. And by the way, of course, the basil, and it smells so good. We don't have smell-o-vision, so we'll just do the best we can. I get the pleasure of smelling it. You don't. Sorry. Now, just so you understand, a knife should be sharp. A very dangerous knife is a dull knife. You probably push harder and you get yourself in a bad situation. My knives are always sharp, as you can see. Especially if you have dull knives on tomatoes, it's like using a hammer on a tomato. So, keep going. I love tomatoes. You know, when I grew up, I was born in, I say BH, everybody thinks Beverly Hills, but it really was Boyle Heights. And Boyle Heights in the 40s and 50s were where a lot of the Jewish people from all over the country and all over the world ended up in California, Los Angeles. And it was a fun community. I moved out of there actually when I was pretty young, so I don't remember too much. I do remember the house on Cumming Street, which is near Soto. If you're downtown, you know the area. And we're very poor. I tell people we were so poor that my parents couldn't afford to have me, so the neighbors did. And to commit suicide, you have to jump up, not down. My mother says that I was the lucky person in their family, or I brought luck to the family, because once I was born, my father started doing very well. And we even got to a point that people said we were rich. We moved into a nice house. Actually, it was eventually, by the way, we had a couple between, but in 1950, we moved into a house that had 17 rooms. Everybody coming from Chicago stayed with us for a while. My aunts, uncles, nephews, cousins, whatever. They were a lot. And we never had an empty seat at dinner. My mother was the type, of course, that just kept cooking. We never had just beef at dinner. We had beef and we had chicken, we had turkey, we had lamb. My mother was funny about pork. We were allowed to have bacon, but we weren't allowed to have ham. I can't figure that one out. But I think she felt that ham was very Christian, but bacon was okay. Nowadays you can get bacon made by turkey. They make pastrami with turkey. They make just about anything with turkey. We love turkey. I was kind of a difficult child, for what it's worth. I remember many nights I did things during the day that really got my family upset, my parents upset. I remember my dad put me in a blanket and said he was going to take me to parochial school. I still don't know what the hell that is. But I screamed and I cried, and I don't think I ever went. So I guess I said I wouldn't do it again. I did. Because it wasn't only with that one time. Wait till your father gets home. Oh God, I've heard that before. Okay, so now, pepper, salt, now we'll do the basil. 1958, we moved to the valley. My father's business was in North Hollywood. We moved to the valley, and we moved to Tarzana. And it was a 3,000 square foot, one-story home. And you're probably wondering, God, that must have been expensive in Tarzana. Well, in 1958, it was $28,000. The same house, about 3 years ago, I saw it listed for $1.2 million. We had a pool in the back. We had about, I think it was about a half an acre, because we had the electrical lines and they couldn't do anything back there, so we had orange trees. And I took care of the orange trees because Sunkist paid me, I don't know how much it was, maybe $10 a tree, to make sure that it was watered, cleaned up around. I had to communicate with them, Sunkist that is, to make sure that they knew when it was getting to be right, and they came over every so often to do it. I went to Taft High School, which is in Woodland Hills, and we started out, actually there was no 12th grade when we started. I started out in the 11th grade because that's when it opened. I went to Reseda High as a 10th grader, and I loved school. I was very funny in school, and I couldn't wait to tell the next joke, I guess. I remember getting a grade once from a teacher. You know, in those days you had AEE or BEE or CEE or whatever. And one of my teachers gave me an ASS, and she said, "This is not a grade, it's a description." So I guess she didn't think I was that funny. And we're chopping up, of course, the basil. I studied, I wanted to be a doctor, you know, Jewish people are supposed to be a doctor or lawyers. My mother wanted me to be a doctor. She thought, truthfully, that I was a gift from God, go figure. And she thought I had healing potential or something. Because what she did was, I remember going to the hospital. She was in the hospital. My mother was always in the hospital. She was in the hospital, and the neighbor, one of the neighbors, had some type of cancer, and she was dying, and she told the lady about me, and she said, when my son gets here, I'll have him come over and he can touch you. This is true. Touch you, and you're going to be well. My mother really did believe that, by the way. Oh, by the way, my next stuff, now some people will use olive oil, some people will use vinegar and olive oil or whatever. My secret sauce. Now, please don't tell everyone about this. This is Brianna's home-style vinaigrette dressing. It is to die for. Just amazing. And so we don't use a lot, but we do use about that. That should take care of it. Smells delicious. Okay, so now we're going to take our bread and, you know, when you use one piece of garlic, it's almost impossible to keep it, hold on to it. So this works really good. Oops. I don't think you're supposed to have these fall off. And there we go. When I graduated high school, I took a job. I was very lucky. Because I wanted to be a doctor, I was working in a lab, medical lab at a hospital, Canoga Park Hospital, in Canoga Park. Good name for it, huh? And I did all this little stuff. I killed the rats to check if some woman was pregnant before surgery. I would inject the rat with the serum from the patient, and then the next day I'd kill the rat and then open the rat up and check their ovaries. So, and of course, needless to say, we're not supposed to have male rats. Well, actually, that was a funny story, because one time we had 6 surgeries, and all 6 of the women were pregnant, so they weren't allowed to have the surgery. And the doctors came in, it's impossible, it's crazy, you're stupid. I said, well, this is it, this is the proof. And then I killed the next rat, which was a male. So the rat got everybody, all the girl rats, I guess, pregnant. And the doctors were not very happy. Okay, so we did the garlic. Now I did make up a little butter melted with garlic in it, just a little. I love garlic. I guess that's the best way of saying it. We don't put too much, just, you know, enough. Then, anyway, I continued my studies, went to USC for a while at pre-med, and the classes were so difficult. Now, when I tell my friends who are at USC now, I think some of them paid as much as $85,000 for the year. I paid $85 a unit. So, quite a difference. Anyway, I did so bad, really. I mean, I studied, and a lot of times they grade them on a bell curve. So no matter how good I was, everybody else was better. So finally, I quit, went into business classes, and lo and behold, I started getting all A's. And I didn't really study that much. Believe it or not, 1965 I got married to a lovely young lady, and her name was Donna. And Donna was truly the perfect wife, woman. She's a good lady. Things didn't work out all the time, unfortunately for us. Probably had to do with money. And we got divorced. 3 wonderful kids also at the time. After that, I married another lovely lady, Lauren, and we were married for about 15 years. We were married 17 years, by the way, with Donna. And of course, I am making bruschetta and talking at the same time. That's how it works. You know, when you're cooking, you do think about things. After a while, things didn't work out the way I would like to have them worked out, and I was remarried again to a lovely lady. And we're now living in a nice home in the Chinese area, and kind of having a nice time. So this is coming out really nice. I hope you don't mind. I'm hungry. It's perfect. That's why I like the cooking shows. Everybody gets to eat. Well, that's it for now, but I'll be back soon with a new recipe. Night.